I have got a really ambitious collage art project today. I have a collection of posters from the printer called Cavallini Press. And this one in particular is really beautiful with lots of colors and images of furniture, French furniture. I want to do a project where I actually cut out these pieces or some of the pieces and use them to create some collage art. So I have this folio. I got it from Daiso, and it's got a bunch of pages that pull out like this, like a big accordion. And it actually has quite a lot, quite a lot. And then of course there's the other side, so you can also do more pages on the other side. So what I would like to do is cut out some of these pieces and collage with them. And since this is French furniture, I thought that I would use some French ephemera. So a couple of years ago, I was in the south of France. My husband was there for a work trip and I begged to tag along. And while I was there, there is a museum, a postcard museum in Antibes. And I picked up a whole bunch of French postcards. What's interesting about that museum is that it's a history of the postcard, of course, which is fascinating. And the curator is the owner. He put it all together. And he, has his displays of the postcards and, it tells a story, and he gives the history of, the different styles over the years. But then he also had shoeboxes full of postcards that were not quote unquote useful or valuable. So they were for sale, and so I got I got this big stack, but they were very inexpensive. They were maybe for €1 or something like that. So I have a lot of postcards, and I can choose if I want to use the front or the back. They're really beautiful. So I will use these, or some of these, with my French furniture. In addition, I have some book pages. So something just from a story. This is some kind of poetry, maybe. This one's not in French, but the handwriting is so tiny, it probably doesn't make a difference anyway. I just want something that is, handwriting. So I will use this. I also have these little tags. These are not vintage, but they're just in a really nice style that matches kind of the aesthetic that I'm looking to do. So I think I will use some of these. And I might do some rubber stamping at the end. I'm not sure. I just have to see how it looks when I start to put it together. So that's the plan. It's quite ambitious. I don't know how much I will get done today. I probably won't finish, that's for sure. But what I want to do is start by cutting out or tearing out some of these pieces. So I'll start in this corner, and I'm gonna just take my ruler. I wish I had a longer ruler, but I don't. This way. Since these feet come down a little bit lower, I will just, keep on working it until I get out the pieces that I want. So this is essentially what I want to do. I just want to get out the pieces. They don't need to be perfect. I don't care that they're just slightly off. That's okay. I want it to be just a little bit ragged. That's why I'm not using scissors. I don't want the precision of scissors. Okay, so I'm gonna do this for the whole sheet and see how my pieces turn out. All right, here are my cut down pieces. I've got a lot to choose from. Some bigger pieces and some smaller ones. I'll have to decide what's gonna go on the cover. I usually will leave the cover for later because I just don't know quite what I want the feel to be like inside. But I think I want to set aside a couple of the large ones. Or you know what? This one has text right on the top. Even though this is bent, I'm hoping that with the glue, it's going to straighten and it's not going to be, you know, quite so obvious. I will perhaps add a few things behind it, but I think I like this one as the cover. Meanwhile, to start on the inside, I will just basically start to experiment. So I've pulled out my papers. I have them next to me here. My desk is gonna get super messy now because I'm just gonna have a bunch of things in front of me. Got some handwriting. I also have some dictionary page. These are nice because they have columns, right? And columns are always interesting to me because I like to have things in straight lines. So this is very helpful. So I'll just start by putting some things down and playing around with the composition. So let's see what I got. When I'm looking for postcards, I'm looking at both sides, right? I'm looking at this back side, the letter side, because the text is interesting, the handwriting, there's postage stamps, postmarks, right? A date, which is really cool. And then the front side, depending on what it is, might be more interesting or not. So this one is not so interesting because it's a nature scene. It's all foliage. You can't really see, you can't distinguish what it is you should be looking at. So this side is more interesting. So that's how I would decide what, you know, which front or back. Here's another example, or this one. These are beautiful postcards on the front, the images. And well, luckily there's nothing on the back here. So I obviously I would choose the front. This one's really difficult because it's an interesting building. It's got text on it. And then on the back, it's also addressed really beautifully. So this one I probably wouldn't touch at all. I'm not going to use this one. It would be too difficult to put glue on the back of this and glue it down. So I will go with these easier choices, the ones with the not so interesting front, and stick with the back. Now, if I put this, I'm just putting these together randomly. If I use these two pieces, you know, what else could I do? I would be looking at the color of the postage stamp. So this is kind of a sea foam green. And I could look for a piece of furniture that might match that green or come similar, or just something that would complement it, right? I'm not sure yet. I haven't started. Well, I need to play around a little bit more. Here I have a lot of white space, and here I have this ragged line from the tear. I might put a piece of washi tape. I could run a piece of washi tape all the way down to cover that up. That would be interesting. Or also I could just tear this right here and make it shorter. Let's see. Let me see if there's another chair or a piece of furniture that would work better here. Okay, so my first attempts, I'm not really liking anything. So I need to figure out what else I could do to fix it. Maybe this text is too wide, so maybe I will cut this down. Now this paper is really old. This is pressed plate press. I can just tell, and it's, you know, aged very nicely. So with these paper scraps that I cut off, I'm going to save them, these pieces, because I can rubber stamp on them with, you know, with ink and stamps, and use them as additional collage papers. So some papers really have a quality to them that you can just feel that they're very vintage or very aged. And so things like this, you know, these are very useful to hang on to. Blank. All right, so now I've got a smaller piece. Let me try again. I think I will cut this off. It's just too much and it's not adding to anything. The only thing I'm making sure of is that I have the correct width when I cut. Okay. Do I want to save this piece? Probably not. Probably not. But, you know, you might have a purpose for it. Okay, this is better. This is better. Now I have smaller pieces. And now I might be able to find a way to stick in my furniture. Now, what if I take something like this and I frame it somehow, maybe like this or like this? Could be. Maybe this is not quite the right piece. Maybe this is better. Okay. It's still looking a little plain, but I do like it. Now I also have die cut flowers and such. Let me see if adding something like that would also be interesting. I've got some of these. These ones I already have, you know, cut out from another project. So let me just take, for example, some flowers. And now I probably wouldn't use yellow or pink, but I'm just looking to see if the theme or the materials are going to complement and work. Something like that, maybe. Is that too much? Maybe a smaller flower, maybe down here. That could work. Again, this color combination is not good. This, and this. It's too much color. It's taking away, it's detracting from everything because these are very plain, simple colors. And then when you have 3 prominent or 4 prominent bright colors that are competing with everything, it's not working. But let me just see, you know, if I have something else, something in here that might be good. If I do any of the flowers, I could possibly do these. These are a little bit more muted. I like these a lot. Let me just take a couple samples out so that I can play with them in here. Okay, so I've got these 2 little guys. Let's see how these will work, if they will work. Okay, I'm liking that. That looks pretty good. I'm not so sure about this. If I don't put this in, what else could I put? Tricky question, tricky question. Should I put an image, an illustration, or text, or handwriting? You know what, where is that? I have that handwriting. This. Let me take a sheet from here, cut it down, and see what I can do. This was gifted to me by a lovely friend, and it's beautiful, beautiful text and paper. So I don't use it very often. But if you're looking for something like this, you probably would look on eBay. I would search for something like vintage handwriting or vintage, you know, handwritten text, or, you know, things like that. So still working with this. I might tear it down a little bit more, like that. Okay, so I've got very neutral colors. Look at all these neutral colors, just with a little bit of the furniture, chair, and the flowers. Is it enough? You know, do I want to put anything else in the background? I could do some rubber stamping underneath just to kind of add a layer of interest. In that case, I would use black ink. Do I want to do that? I could. I could definitely. Let me think about it. I might, but I would have to use probably that stamp that I always use, the one with the round ones, because I want it to be very faint. I don't want it to stand out. It needs, these pieces need to stand out. And so the rubber stamping has to be very faint at the bottom. In this case, I will take a pencil and I will kind of mark that I want a rubber stamping here. And do I want something at the top? No, I think I just want something right here. Just right there, just to fill in this space a little bit. I will leave this blank and I will leave this blank to kind of balance it. Also up here, and just something right here. So let me go grab my ink and my rubber stamp, and I'll be right back. All right, so I went to go grab my stamps and I found this stamp. It's text in French. That might be useful. This is a Hero Arts stamp. I also found this one, which has a bunch of French postmarks. This is an Inkadoo stamp. I got this one at Michael's craft store. This is a lovely stamp. I use it all the time. And then I found also this one, Fleur de Lis, which is, might be good at some point. I don't think it would go here, but you know, it might be useful at some point. So I will stick these on my desk. This is the original stamp that I went to go find. I was going to put it underneath, you know, as the first layer down here, but actually I think I like this one better just because the stamp is so close. So I might use that one. So I'll just set this one aside for now. And actually, wait, now that I think about it, I think I want to put this on at the very end. I was originally thinking that I wanted to have the first layer as a rubber stamp, but because it is so small, it's fine to put it right on the top. So let me do that. That means I will glue or tape everything down first and then do the rubber stamping at the end. So quickly, let's talk about glue. What glue should I use for these pieces? I'm using very vintage papers, excluding these two. How should I put these down? So there is this stuff called Yes Paste. This is very good flat glue. It's 100% acid free, perfect for archival work. It doesn't wrinkle, and it doesn't. I've used it a lot and it doesn't wrinkle, which is really nice. It's non-toxic, it's water-based, easy to clean up. Okay, yeah, so it has a lot of really good things about it. The only thing is that it's very difficult to apply. So it gets dry pretty, well, I mean, I've had this for years, and I mean, I've been using it. So you do need some kind of applicator. You need, how do you call those things? A spackle thing? I don't know. It's like a metal thing and you scrape it and then, you know, you can put it down. Some people use a paintbrush. You know, you just slightly get it wet and then you can get the glue off that way. And then turn your pieces over on a separate surface like this. And then with your paintbrush, paint the back and then, you know, put it on. I don't use paste very often just because it's not easy to use. It's just, and the more often you use it, the more comfortable you get. So it's obviously not an excuse that it's not easy to use. But I just prefer to use glue stick. I just do. And with glue sticks, I just read the ingredients to make sure that it's acid free. And this one is. Acid-free, non-toxic, acid-free. That's it. I mean, these are applicators. They're so easy to use glue sticks, obviously. This will have, I will use double-sided tape. We'll use double-sided tape just because it's thicker, right? It has more, it's just thicker. So in this case, I will use my score tape. And everything else is going to get glue stick. All right, so now we just tell which ones go first, second, third, right? What am I gonna do here? I don't wanna cut off the feet. So maybe like this. Is that how I had it before? Something like that. Okay. So obviously this one is first. Okay, so that was first. Probably these don't matter which one goes next. Okay, so let's do this one first. If I want to, I can take my pencil and I can mark just a little corner so that I know where to place it down. Will I be able to slip this underneath? Probably not. So I have to hold this right here, do this one next. Scoot it over a little bit more, about right there. So when I place this down, I'm trying to cover this intersection right here, where this paper cuts, crosses with the postcard. So that's what I'm looking to do when I lay down one of these pieces. Okay. I would like the top to come just a little bit on here, and actually to come over on here as well. So let's just do that. There we go. Okay, first page is done. All right, so will I be able to maintain pretty much the same or similar kind of look and feel throughout all of these pages? I don't know. Let's see. You know what? I could just do a theme where I just take however many I have of these and just keep on going with pretty much the same thing. I'll change the background here. You know, obviously the furniture will change, postcards will change, but it'll be the same format. So and I'm not going to do this page for now because I might do something different on the alternate pages. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Can I do 4 collages? Yes, I totally can do 4 collages, 4 more collages. So let me do 4 more and then I will show you how they come out. All right, I have finished the rest of the 4 pages that I wanted to do in here. So here is how they turned out. Around halfway through, I realized that I want the focal point of all these collages to be the postcards. The postcards are the most outstanding feature in these collages. So everything else was, I don't want to say secondary, but everything else was, I looked for papers that would complement the postcards and make the postcards stand out, rather than, you know, just have the postcards blend into the background. This one I really like because I have this table and then I put the flowers on the table. I didn't know if I wanted to put the flowers here so that it would kind of cover up the line, but I figured that the flowers needed to be on the center of the table, so I did it this way. They're all a little bit on the plain side, but again, the focus is on the vintage papers, and so I didn't want to add more things and more things to kind of distract from the papers. Okay, so now I want to do the cover. So I have the title piece, which I will probably put here. And then in addition, I have a postcard because I want to focus on the postcard. This one is Paris, which is good. And I have these paper scraps. So I thought that I would do something like this. I didn't like this empty space over here, so I was thinking about what I could do, and the only thing that I could come up with was to take a page like this and then split it down the middle. Let me show you what I mean. Let me clean off the edges first. So I have this piece of text, and what I will do is I'm going to just cut it right down the middle. And what this will allow me to do is once I stick them in here, start again. Let's put these here and here. So I just want to make them, pull them to the edges, right? So this will go here. And this will go here. So it looks like a full page, right? And then I've got these little guys that I want to put here like this. There we go. It looks like a full page, just as long as the bottom, you know, covers like this. So that is what I'm going to do. So let me glue it down. I could have done it a little bit better where I cut off the text a little, or cut off the margin a little bit closer to the text, because there is this white space and then more space here. So I could have done it a little bit better. You know what, let's see what happens if I add a flower here. How does that look? Is it too much? No, actually, you know what? I'm going to do it. Okay, that is the cover. So what am I going to do with the rest of the pages? Since these first collages are postcards, I had the idea that I could do the alternate side in vintage covers. I could use envelopes on the other side, something like that. Or I could continue with postcards on this side, and then on this side I could do all the envelopes, right? So I have quite a lot of options. But this is what I've got so far. I guess I'm a quarter of the way through the entire book, which is a good start. So I'm going to finish here. I will continue to show you how I work on this. Maybe I'll make some more videos with the next series of collages so that you can see how I am continuing the theme and how I'm kind of making them all work together. I don't even know if I will continue to use these pieces of furniture. I mean, why not? They're nice, and I've got a whole bunch of them. So, you know, I'll probably will. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you the next time.